everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope you had a great week. It's time for us to have our Bible study lesson. This week, we're going to continue studying the fruits of the Spirit, and we're going to study our fruit, patience, this week. That's right, patience. I know a lot of us, including adults, need to learn to have patience. Remember at the beginning of our very first lesson, and I said sometimes different words can be used for our fruits of the Spirit? Well, this week is one of those times. Sometimes you'll hear patience, also called long suffering. So sometimes you'll hear the fruits of the Spirit and you'll hear long suffering instead of the word patience. But this week, we're going to use the word patience. Patience is more commonly used in our everyday language, so I'm going to stick with that word. But I just want you to know, just in case you ever hear the word long suffering, it also means patience. What is patience, you might ask? It's waiting on God to keep his promises, not being overly anxious, not being impatient or angry. We're waiting on his perfect timing. You know how your mom says she's going to do something for you and just tell you to wait a minute? And you're like asking these questions of when are you going to do it? When? That's your lack of patience. That's right. That's your lack of patience. But if your parents tell you they're going to do something and you just wait on them to do it and all of a sudden they say it's done and you didn't ask any questions of when it's going to be done, that's patience. You had patience and you trusted them to actually do it. Say, for instance, you're on a long car ride, maybe to visit family or to go on vacation, and you know how you get kind of, let's say, restless in the car, and you start asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's showing you have a lack of patience. And I know you get kind of bored in the car and you want to stretch your legs, but you have to have patience to get to your destination so you can have fun. That's what we're talking about today, patience. God has given us patience, and we just have to trust him to keep his word. And he always keep his word and his promises in his perfect timing. Psalms 37:7 says, "Be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for him to act." We must always keep that word in our hearts and know that God is going to act on our behalf, but in his timing. That's right. Just like the story of Noah and the ark. God told Noah to build the ark for him and his family and also take 2 of every animal, 1 male and 1 female, on the ark. And he was going to send a great flood. Noah did this and prepared, but it took God 120 years to send that flood. During that time, Noah built the ark and was prepared, but his neighbors and friends all made fun of him. They weren't preparing, and Noah preached that God was going to send the flood, but they all laughed and mocked at him. But during that 120-year span time, Noah was prepared. He waited patiently. Could you imagine waiting that long for something to happen? Noah showed a lot of patience. And God did exactly what he said he was going to do. You just have to trust God and keep his word. That's right. Just trust God. He'll always do what he says he's going to do. You just never know the time, but trust me, his timing is always perfect. He's right on time. Well, I'm going to go right now, but I just want to do a quick overview of all our fruits of the Spirit. At the beginning of when we started this series, we went over all our fruits. So I just want to do a quick refresher. Remember, the fruits of the Spirit are found in Galatians 5:22 and 23. But the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. So remember, we're going to learn all the fruits of the Spirit. And today, we're studying patience. Remember, we, and I'm including myself, adults and kids, all need to have patience. We know sometimes things may not go our way, but eventually what needs to happen will happen in God's timing for us. I'll see you soon.
Hi, GNABC family. This is Pastor Kawana, and we are going to talk about patience this week. Now, as we all know, some of us really don't like patience. We lack it a lot. And I can honestly say I lack patience in some areas because I'm a go-getter and I like things done in my timing. I whenever I want to eat, I want to eat right then. Whenever I want to go and do something, I want it right then. I want to do it right now. And sometimes that we can display being not very patient, and maybe when we're hungry and we don't know how to relate it to mom and dad. And sometimes we can say, I'm hungry now. But that's not how we do it. We should always be patient. We make it count to 10. There are many different ways that we can learn how to be patient. I've learned, like I said, from counting. I start at 10 and I go all the way down to 1. And I've calmed myself down and I've actually brought on more patience for me to do the things that I need to do, for me to wait for things to happen in the timing that it should. Everything that we do is always in God's timing. So if we try to rush some things, it's out of God's timing. Sometimes we can set ourselves up for something that's not for us at that time, just because we're not being patient. Don't rush things, because when God says he knows the plans that he has for you, he really does know what he has planned for you. He knows when to stop things. He knows when to start things. Also, being patient is waiting for your food to cool. What happens if you don't wait for your food to cool? Yes, it's hot and it burns your tongue. So therefore, that's not comfortable. So being patient causes you to be able to eat your food when it's cool, and to eat your food in at the right time when it's the right temperature. So sometimes it's hard for us to be patient, but it pays off in the very, very end. Being patient, sometimes we have to stay positive. And being positive, like I said, I count. Being positive is, I think about something else. I think about maybe the good times that I've had, especially when I'm sitting in line and I think about, oh my gosh, I really, 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 really want to get into Walmart, but I've got to stand in this line. But I start thinking about all those fun times when I'm standing in line. I can play all kinds of games. I can talk to mom and dad about something that might have gone on. Those are the positive things that come out of being patient. You don't think about the negative and saying, oh my gosh, it's hot outside. Think about you going to the beach. I'm putting my feet in the sand. Oh my gosh, I get to play with my toys. All those things, all those positive things, all those things that you're thinking about, guess what? You're at the front of the line. That patience of thinking positive always can have you to make things go by a lot faster. Also, in experiencing wait, sometimes you get the good things that happens when you wait sometime. Because sometimes you can rush things to happen. Say if you rush doing a test, sometimes you don't do good, you don't get good grades. Good grades are very, very important. So don't rush a test. Don't rush trying to be the first one to get finished. Don't rush the first one to try to turn in your paper or to be able to do something for the classroom, because it's not always a good turnout. So just be patient in some things. Now, racing is it's competition. It's something that, hey, I'm rushing to get to the finish line. That's okay, because you're rushing to get to the finish line to win. But you got to think. You got to relax. You've got to make sure that don't jump the gun now. Before the person says go, don't be so anxious or so excited to go ahead and go. Because if you're not patient enough to listen, that means you may get disqualified. That's something negative, and I know no one wants to be disqualified. So just think about the positive when you're being patient. Think about the good things that could come out when you're being patient. Being patient is so very vital, guys. It's vital because good things come out of that. Positive things come out of that. Think the positive. The positive will be in your heart. So the good things come out of that. So, and when you sometimes, one last thing, when you misbehave, yeah, positive things does not come out of misbehaving. If you really, really want that toy and you decide, well, I'm just going to break the toy in the store, that's not being patient. Then you don't get a toy at all. Be patient. Do what you're supposed to do at home. Do what you're supposed to do at school. And then all that patience of you doing all the things that you need to do, guess what? That toy can end up right on your dresser. But you've got to be patient about it. Your timing is not always God's timing. You really have to wait on the Lord. You have to listen to what he says. Listen to what he wants to do for you. So just be patient about things and be positive also. Guys, I have really enjoyed this. And this has taught me some things just as well. So not just young people, us a little bit seasoned people, we have to have patience also. So patience is vital. Always think about being patient and being positive too. You guys have an awesome weekend, and I look forward to talking with you guys next week. Bye-bye.
I'm back, everyone. Did you enjoy today's lesson? And did you learn what patience is? And that patience is trusting God to keep his promises in his perfect timing? I hope you learn to practice patience. I know it's really hard, but we all need to practice patience, adults and children. I know it's something you have to learn, but it is very important. You will need patience throughout your lifetime because nothing happens very quick. But it always happens on time because God keeps his promises on his time for us. I hope you have a great week. I enjoyed having this lesson with you. And also remember to wash your hands and put on your mask. I'll see you next week as we study another fruit of the Spirit, kindness. I'll see you next week and have a great week. Bye for now.
There was a snail called Herbert who was so very slow. He caused a lot of traffic jams wherever he would go. The ants were always getting mad, and the beetles, they would fume. But Herb would always poke along and sing this little tune.
Have patience, have patience. Don't be in such a hurry. When you get impatient, you only start to worry. Remember, remember that God is patient too, and think of all the times when others have to wait for you.
When Herbert was much younger, he often got in trouble. Forgetting that he was a snail, he did things on the double. He'd crash through every spider web, and with crickets he'd collide. Till one day Herbert's father took his feeling son aside.
Have patience, have patience. Don't be in such a hurry. When you get impatient, you only start to worry. Remember, remember that God is patient too, and think of all the times when others have to wait for you.
As you can well imagine, there's a moral to this tale. Some of you may find yourself behind a creeping snail. So if you get impatient and you're easily disturbed, think about this little song and take a tip from her. Have patience, don't be in such a hurry. When you get impatient, you only start to worry. Remember that God is patient too, and think of all the times when others have to wait for you.